Welcome to the fourth part in the signal adventure. This is going to be a bit crazy, so get your brain gears going, get them into overdrive if you have to, because you might have to watch these a few times to understand them. But trust me, once you get it, and you won't forget it. Hopefully. So in all of the previous ABS examples that I've shown, that's always been one route. You're just continuing down the trackway to the next station. Very simply put, you got the red, the yellow, and the green. If you do not know what an auto block signal is, you are watching the wrong video. Go back and watch episode 5. I'll hopefully put a link to it in the description. Watch that first and watch all the signal series first before coming to this video. Because trust me, if you are starting out learning auto block, and you haven't watched that first video, you need to, because this is the more complicated stuff. This is how to get from one route to the other. So I'm going to be using some pictures that are not mine in this video. They're from maxfacts.com. I'll put a link to his blog in the description. But because I've never actually been to any of these stations, and because of the virus, I haven't been able to go out and go film this stuff, so So anyway, we're going to be heading off to the El Monica MAX station. Now if you're sitting here, the way El Monica is situated is the yard sits east of the MAX station. So if you're sitting at the MAX station, if you're an eastbound train, you could either go off to Gresham or you could branch and go into the yard. So there are two routes here. Just like in the last video, the same rule applies. The number of aspects that are lit up on your signal indicate the route you are going on. There are two routes here. If your signal has one aspect on it, that means you are going on route number 1, the primary route. You are going to Gresham. If there are two aspects lit up on the signal, just like seen in this picture, you will not be going to Gresham. You are going into the yard. And the way you read this signal is red over yellow, because you have a red light on top and then a yellow light on the bottom. Red over yellow means you are going into El Monica because there are two lights lit, therefore you are taking route number 2. So you saw in that picture that the bottom signal, the bottom aspect, was yellow. Not all of them are like that. Some of them are lunar. So right around the Rose Quarter area, it gets quite confusing because of how the yellow line branches off, and then you've got the blue, green, and red, and then on the other side of the steel bridge they branch off again. So there's a lot of crazy action happening there, and so there are plenty of signals throughout the area. Rose Quarter is going to get its own video in the future, but these signals will show a red or a lunar only, or sometimes a red, yellow, and lunar. So the bottom signal near the Rose Quarter area is usually lunar, maybe always lunar. So if you're on the steel bridge going east, so Rose Quarter is your next station. If you're going into Rose Quarter, that is your primary route. It was built first, and so it's the primary route, and there are more trains that take that. So the signal is just going to light up lunar. I've already talked about what a lunar signal means. It just means that there's no indication of whether or not there's a train in front of you, but the switches and everything are set properly. Now, if you're going to be going on the yellow line and you're going to be going down Interstate Avenue, the signal will light up with the red and the lunar light. Again, two lights on the signal, so you're taking the secondary route, which is the yellow line extension on Interstate Avenue. Now, Gateway Transit Center, that's just a mess. Gateway is also going to be getting its own video sometime in the future because it's crazy. If you're sitting on it's technically the southbound track at Gateway Transit Center, trains here will branch and go to Gresham, Clackamas, or the airport, and each one of those takes a different trackway. Now, if you're sitting there, these signals have actually been replaced later, but they still function the same, they're just a lot more compact. Again, if there is one signal lit up, then you are going to be taking the primary route, which will take you to Gresham. Again, that was built first, so it's the primary route. The secondary route will take you to the Portland airport. This will light up with a red light, and then either yellow or green, because depending on how many blocks in front of you are available. Again, general auto block stuff there, red, yellow, and green. There are two lights that would be lit up on this signal, and so you would be going to the Portland airport. Again, the airport opened after the Gresham line did, so it's the secondary route. The tertiary route here will take you to Gresham, and that signal will be red over either, again, yellow or green, depending on how many blocks are open in front of your train. Now, again, not my picture, but this is a photo here of what it would look like if you were going to Clackamas. Red over green. Again, because you're going to Clackamas, it's the tertiary route. It's route number 3, and so there are 3 aspects lit up on your signal. We're not even going to really get into this, but there is this monstrous signal at Gateway that can display 5 different routes. The primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, and quinary routes. Well, let's just say there's a reason that they have since lettered the routes A through E at Gateway, and so the signals are lettered A, B, C, D, and E after the signal numbers. So if a signal has a letter tacked onto the end of it, A or B or whatever, then it's kind of the same thing. Route A, Route B, Route C, primary, secondary, tertiary. So, again, I've said it in the last few videos as well, but be sure to check the descriptions of these videos because I will post update videos as to things that relate to them. So don't forget to watch these videos more than once if you have to. Keep checking the descriptions. Keep watching them over and over again because I can almost guarantee if you have watched this once, just once, you have forgotten a lot of the information in this video. It's a lot of information and it's a lot of stuff to have to remember. So watch them more than once. And I will see you next time. What? You're still here? You want to learn more about these signals? Okay. In the examples I showed in this video, you'll notice that the top signal was always red and the bottom signal is either yellow or lunar or green, some other color that's telling you how much further you've got, or letting you basically diverge into the other track. But how do you figure that the top signal is red? There are some signals where it will display a yellow over yellow. Or in the case of Sunset Transit Center, it's the only signal in the entire MAX system where the top aspect will display a green and the bottom aspect will also display a green. Why? Well, the top aspect tells you how much further down the trackway it is until the diversion happens. So if the diversion happens right after the signal, well, the top aspect will be red because you've got no more general ABS signals left until the diversion happens. It's immediately after the rail, and so it's red. If the top aspect is yellow, then this means that you've got one more block, one signal block, before the diversion happens. And if the top aspect is green, like in the case of Sunset Transit Center for trains going into Beaverton Transit Center, like the red line, then the top aspect will be green because it's 2 blocks or more until the diversion happens. And if you think about it, if you're sitting at Sunset Transit Center, it's almost a 5-minute train ride until the diversion happens. So it's several signals down on the alignment. I think it's 4 signals down the alignment before the diversion happens, and so that's why the top aspect is green. Again, this is all mostly trivia, and you'll never need to know that information, but if you wanted to know the science of how they got the red light or yellow or green, then that's how. I don't really think there is a science behind why some of them are lunar on the bottom and some of them are yellow, other than the fact that they can detect whether a train is in the circuit or not. But anyway, I've overloaded your brain, I know it. And so this concludes for now the most basic and covers most of the whole areas of signals on the alignment. And so next time you can look forward to something that is not signals. Yay! So I'm actually going to go now, and I will see you next time.